Hi, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
And welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. Well, Jim, another week or so of Olympic action has come and gone. Canada's not doing too bad in the medal standings, considering our level of expectations, I guess. A bit of surprise to see Great Britain where they are, which is third place. But let's get right to your favorite event, Jim. What did you think of the world's fastest man?
What a performance by Usain Bolt. That was so much. I mean, there was lots of stories in the lead up to it. Like, is he even going to win? Is his fellow countryman? Is he going to take over? Because he had beat him before, I think, a couple of times. Johan Blake. He had a lot to prove. Whenever you come in as the defending champ, especially if it's 4 years between events, there's a lot to prove. Not a lot of people can do the back to backs. But, like all great athletes, he came out and did his thing. Just a dominant second half of that race, especially. I don't think he got the greatest start, but when he's in full flight, that's really something to see. Absolutely. The guy is so big.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. He didn't get the greatest start, but then about 50 meters in, he just came on, and it was over. Like, it was absolutely over after that. And it was amazing. He did, his pose, which I absolutely love, and I love the swagger that comes with the guy. Not too many other sports do I like the swagger, but the 100 meter, absolutely.
Well, what's the profile on his Twitter account? The world's most naturally gifted athlete, or something like that. Like,
wonderful.
Hey, attaboy.
Hey, if you can do it, I love it.
Well, Jeff, it's well documented that you're a huge Olympics guy. Amateur sports, all kinds. You love it. So. What's got you on the edge of your seat so far?
Well, it's been a great Olympics so far, Jim. I love everything, like you said, well documented. But there's been a couple of things. Milos Raonic, the tennis, the longest third set in Olympic history. There was a break for rain in the middle of it. So coming back to watch that was absolutely amazing. And it's too bad he didn't win, but that's not the end of the world. Jim, Gord Miller calling swimming this year. You asked me what's edge of my seat so far. Any of that swimming with Gord Miller has been absolutely insane. I don't have the investment in a lot of the swimming that a lot of other people do. I'm much more invested in Canadian athletes, I find. But I can get involved in the storylines, and so just watching that swimming, and they have so many events. So every 30 seconds, it's another, Gord Miller. Oh my God, he's coming up from the back, and it's absolutely amazing. But by far, the best thing so far, the best edge of my seat so far has got to be Team Canada versus Team USA women's soccer. What an incredible game, Jim.
The drama.
Oh, absolutely. Christine Sinclair with 3 goals. She seemed to just, will the Canadians against the number 1 team in the world. And what I love about sport is that I get into it and I live and die with the sport and with the people who are playing it. And you can just see it, Jim. Like they're up and they're up and they're up, and then to lose in injury time, in the extension, like
injury time and extra time.
Absolutely.
Come on,
like with no time left on the clock, and they did so incredibly well. That's the first real edge of my seat stuff for the Olympics, and I absolutely loved it, even though they lost, and it was absolutely just heartbreaking. It was so much fun, and that's why I love sport, man. Yeah,
that's to give up a goal like they did at the very end there. That was just crushing. But the way they played in the lead up to that, and to be in front, a handful of times, and wow. I don't know if any of us expected that game to be as hard fought. And
no.
I mean, I saw a couple Canadian players laying out Scott Stevens, a few times. There was some pretty solid contact.
Yeah.
So there was that was fun. That was a lot of fun to watch. Unfortunately, not the result they wanted, and hopefully they can get up for the bronze game as well. It might be hard, after such a crushing defeat. But back to Gord Miller though. Watching swimming in general, regardless really of who's calling it, the play-by-play is so intense.
So intense.
I just my arms just start to
totally
makes me want to get out there and have a swim. But
absolutely,
I think they should get the earbuds in there, and you can download like just the play-by-play of a race for when you go swim yourself. That would make me cruise in that pool.
No kidding, you'd be so fast. No, that's incredible. I agree. Swimming's been just amazing so far. Well, there have been a couple of controversies so far with athletes actually getting sent home, Jim. Let's go over a couple of them.
Well, a couple were sent home for racist tweets. We might have touched on that in previous weeks. Some badminton players got in trouble for throwing games, which, okay. And the latest, an Algerian 1,500-meter medal hopeful, Tufik Makulfi, or something along those lines, was tossed for not trying hard in the 800-meter because he wasn't going to run it, but they didn't pull him out in time, so he had to run it. So he was just like, okay, well, I'm not really going to. So he's just out of the Olympics now. That's kind of harsh. Five-time Olympian Kim Collins of St. Kitts and Nevis tossed for going to visit his wife at her hotel. That's kind of, I guess, leaving the athletes' village without permission maybe is bad, but he's gone. So you got a lot of people out for non-doping related things, which is kind of funny. Another guy got kicked out for doping because he unknowingly ate something that had marijuana in it, supposedly. So
we could go on for forever about how marijuana in the Olympics, it's not a enhancing drug, but let's
now are we just saying that because we're Canadian and we had Ross Rebliati?
Maybe that's got something to do with it, certainly. But hey, can we go back to badminton just for a second?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not. So a couple of teams got kicked out. Indonesia, China, for tossing some games. I agree. I watched it and it was absolutely horrid. Like, it was just the fans booing them. It was not in the Olympic spirit. So for that reason, I understand why they got kicked out. But I'm actually on the opposite side of this. I don't agree. I don't agree that they should have been kicked out. It's the fault of the tournament organizers for setting it up in a certain way. You don't have racers, racers who are going for points, but they don't need it going all the way to the first, to the front of the race, and possibly getting in a crash. Like, the way that the tournament was set up is that they can absolutely toss a game. I don't know. I don't agree that it was with the Olympic spirit, and I agree. Again, I understand, but for this tournament style, that's the way it's got to be. The Olympic organizers have to switch that, make it some other way, and then they're going to get rid of that.
You heard it here first, folks. Absolutely. Badminton needs big changes.
Well, on to some football now. Let's keep going. The Edmonton Eskimos are 3-2 after 5 games. They had a bye this week. They host the Riders on Friday. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, with the new quarterback, there's always going to be that adjustment period. I'm not sure if we're through it yet, but there definitely have been some moments that have been hard to watch. There's been some moments that have been nice, but it's mainly the defense and the special teams really picking up the slack so far. They're scoring points, which is obviously crazy important when your offense isn't, maybe firing on all cylinders. Stephen Giles has been up and down, hoping to see more from him as the season goes on, but the fact that they do have other facets of the game performing at, really what you'd have to describe as elite levels, I mean, that's good enough for me so far. If the offense can turn things around a bit or get a bit of momentum going forward, they could be a team that's really scary to play against. And that's what you want, right? And it's been a tough few years for us here across sports in general. So, if they can get that offense to start clicking, I mean, that the defense is playing as well as they are with all the pressure they have on them. You take a bit of pressure off, who knows what this team's capable of.
I think you nailed it. And, people use the regular season to get, especially in this league, just to get to the playoffs. So use the regular season, but you're right. The offense does have to pick it up at some point. So if you get both that offense and defense and special teams all working at the same time, you're right. It's going to be a scary team. But until that happens, it's going to be tough to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hockey's a little low on our rundown this week for the first time in a long time because there's really not much going on. Really, the only story is, the latest on the Coyotes and their captain, Shane Doan.
So I think the story so far has been that he wants to stay in Phoenix, but he also wants a team that has, an owner, things like that, a guaranteed future in the present market.
Right.
But, there's the problem, right? Because Greg Jameson, he's trying to buy the team. He's short. The latest I heard is he's short money, and he wouldn't have the money to actually operate the team once it's, once they've actually bought it. So that seems to be still maybe a bit far away. And on the flip side, he wants $30 million over 4 years, which I think is scaring some teams away because he's not, the youngest guy out there, and he's a great player. But that might be a bit high of an asking price for some teams. But I mean, yeah, I guess you look at other contracts around the league and you go, actually, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, that's right.
He'll probably want to get that deal signed before the CBA expires, though, just in case.
I would say so. Absolutely.
Just in case there's a drastic change to how things look.
Which there might be, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to move on to the GABBYs now, folks. This is the good and bad by you. We take the best and the worst in the world of sport, and sometimes we make fun of it. This time, a little bit less making fun, but still just the same here. A good to this week to Rosannagh MacLennan, who is Canada's first gold medal winner of the 2012 London Olympics. She won in the trampoline event, which looks like a lot of fun, Jim. We could easily make fun of this trampolining, but we're not gonna. Good for her.
I'd break my neck.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
No kidding. The way that she does it, oh, absolutely.
Let's give a good to Derek Dye. He's the music guy for the Daytona Cubs, a minor league baseball team. He was ejected from a game last week when he played 3 blind mice after a bad call. I think the M's need to lighten up a touch.
Yeah.
Throwing out the music guy.
Really? And how do you do that? Like, does he point at him and then give him the old,
yeah.
Get out of here?
Where's the music guy?
Yeah, where's he sitting right now? And finally, a good to Shannon Eastin, who will become the first woman to be part of an NFL officiating crew on Thursday night. According to ESPN, the NFL has started using replacement refs while they sort out a contract dispute with their normal officials. Good for her, but a little bit of an asterisk beside it, not having the normal refs. That never ends up working out well. I hope that they can get their better refs back.
Yeah. Plus, it's preseason.
So, it's a good point.
But still, hey, that's a good progression.
Absolutely.
On the bad side this week, let's start with Felipe Kitadai, who won a bronze in judo for Brazil. Then broke his medal while he was having a shower. He says he was wearing it everywhere. He had it on the string. He was holding it out of the shower, I think, so it wouldn't get wet. And the strap broke and it dented it or something. He wants a new one. But, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Oh, nice work. You win some, you lose some. Nice. I like that. Seriously, though, Jim, if you won a medal at the Olympics, would you not wear that everywhere all the time, never take it off?
I don't know if I'd shower with it.
No.
I'd probably bring it to the bathroom with me, but I don't know if I because I don't know. Use 2 hands when you shower a lot of time, right?
I totally put it in like a Ziploc bag and stuff, and like still hang it around. I would absolutely do that.
I mean, a gold, yeah. A bronze, wow, maybe. A bronze can wait for me outside.
That's right. I like it. A bad to Man United defender Rio Ferdinand, who's been charged with improper conduct over some allegedly racist comments about Chelsea's Ashley Cole. Ferdinand appeared to endorse someone's comment about Cole on Twitter. Cole is a teammate of John Terry, who was accused of racially abusing Ferdinand's brother Anton during an EPL match earlier last year. Man, the drama just doesn't stop with those soccer players.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Twitter's getting people in trouble these days.
Sideways.
Gotta watch out who you retweet.
Absolutely.
Finally, a bad to the police officers in London who lost the keys to Wembley Stadium during the soccer tournament. They had to quickly change a bunch of locks, but they insist there was no security breach, so that's good, I guess. But come on, man, get a lanyard or something.
Could you imagine that cop going like,
yeah.
Oh.
Do you have
it? Oh. And it's like back on his dresser drawer back at home, and he's like, I see it right now. Unbelievable. Well, folks, the punchline this week is the whole National Broadcasting Corporation for its Olympic coverage.
Yeah, they've been blasted a lot. All Olympics, pretty much, right from the opening ceremonies. We've done it,
Absolutely.
But this is a classic. A reporter was out there doing kind of a streeter kind of deal, like talking to random people on the street, including Evander Holyfield. Didn't realize it was Evander Holyfield.
Nice.
Until way after. I think he tweeted something like, hey, don't be so hard on these guys. They just, I'm just here like a fan. But, man, yeah. I mean, a heavyweight boxer is a guy that stands out a little bit. Exactly. It's not like you or I are heavyweight boxers. Like, we're pretty big dudes.
Well, obviously.
Granted,
yes,
but
right.
Not heavyweight boxer kind of big. Like, you'd be like, this guy. Wait a second.
He's got quite the face too. Like he
got a bit of FaceTime during a certain massive controversy years ago that involved part of his ear.
That's right.
So,
My favorite NBC part so far is you could watch a rover land on another planet live on NBC, but you couldn't watch an Olympic event live on NBC. I love it. It's absolutely great. That's out of this world, Jim. Yeah, there it is.
You.
All right, folks. Well, on that absolutely horrible note, that's our 15 minutes of fame up for this week. Thank God. Join us again next week when we get a whole new 15 minutes of fame. In the meantime, I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Have a good week, folks. Out of this world.
Out of this world. That was good, buddy.